right now. We did it. We're here. We're only 9 minutes late this time. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, we're here. All right. Let's get this party started. Good afternoon. Today is Friday, October 9th, 2020. And today we're going to talk about the Apple event, the iPhone 12 leak vomit, and a whole lot more because this is the iMore Show. And joining us today is iMore Show's expert therapist of anxiety-videos.com, Georgia Dow. Welcome to the show.
I'm so happy to be here. Exciting day.
Exciting. And also joining us today is Joe Keller, assistant managing editor of iMore. Welcome to the show, Joe.
iPhones.
And I am Lori Gill. And let's talk about this iPhone vomit. Well, actually, you know what, Joe? I'm going to make you wait.
Joe.
Because the first thing we have to talk about is the official announcement of the Apple event. This is something we predicted would probably happen this week, and we were right. So, look to us for your rumors and leaks because we're clearly always right. So the Apple event will take place on Tuesday, October 13th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. I did say Tuesday, right?
I think it's pronounced Prime Day.
Yeah, that's the new name of it. That is also the same day as Amazon Prime Day. So by the way, if you want to get special deals on Amazon Prime and you want to find out about the iPhone, come to iMore because we got both. But yeah, so it's happening. And of course, Apple didn't say that it's an iPhone event, but we all know what's going to happen. We're going to see iPhone.
What else could they be showing us? We'd be so upset.
Yeah. So let's quickly just talk about the actual invitation, just because that's always fun to do a little bit of speculating. It is orange and blue colors, which is perfect for the fall season, especially for October. And it's circular with an Apple logo in the center. And their invitation says, the invitation that they send out to the press says, hi, speed. So HI as in hello. So what do you think? What is speed? What does that speed imply?
Oh.
Joe, tell me what you think. Tell me what you thought before this morning, by the way.
So what I thought before this morning. So I think it's all about, they're going to put an emphasis on 5G, I think.
You think it's going to be about speed? Really?
Oh yeah. Well, no, I think it's going to be about amphetamines. They're taking the company in a new direction. No, I think it's going to be about 5G, and I think they're going to really emphasize, because they had like a little section at the iPad event, but I think they're really going to emphasize the A14. And how fast it is, and probably like that new neural engine on the A14 is a massive leap over even the A13, I think, in terms of just size. So I think they're going to talk a lot about the A14, and they're going to talk a lot about 5G and the benefits of 5G on the iPhone. And yeah, that's
so what kind. Okay, actually, before we go into the leaks, okay, so speed you think relates to the 5G. So you don't think anymore that. So in case anyone was wondering, up until this morning, Joe was convinced that we were going to see a Mac at this event, and in part because that makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
Georgia, especially the Mac Silicon, it's going to be faster than any Mac they've ever had. So it totally relates. It seems like, they said the end of the year, and we're very close to the end of the year right now.
Yeah, but doesn't seem like it.
We're looking at some different things now.
And when I first saw the art, I'm like, though the little circles totally could be AirTags. They totally could be. That would be a perfectly cute little AirTag. I'm not getting the AirTags again. Nothing points to the AirTags, but they look. I was like, that could be those concentric rings. That could also be an AirTag hidden among the rings. But
we have even seen renders. I think John Prosser was someone who had leaked some renders of what he had actually seen with his own eyes. They are not the actual product, but they are renders of the product. And it looks just like the invitation, the little circle with the Apple logo in the middle of it. So
We
Yeah.
were so
I know.
convinced.
I know.
I was so excited. I was so excited. I'm like, oh, but I'm like, now I've had like Lucy take the football away so many times. I'm like,
You don't believe it
do
They're never
anymore.
coming out. They're never coming out.
We're never getting them.
Yeah.
We're never getting them.
So-
And the other thing I was hoping for, and hopefully, will be actually happening, is faster charging.
Mhm.
Maybe
Faster,
wireless
that's speed.
charging.
Right? There's a little speed in that. Yeah.
in that, right? So it's not just, I was hoping not just 5G, we got faster phones, faster charging, wireless charging, speed.
Speed. Let's hope for all the speeds. The event itself, again, this time around, Apple had a little Easter egg. If you were to look at it on your phone in Safari, you could see a little AR. You could trigger a little AR visual where the circle would sort of explode into a bunch of little orange bubbles with the date itself as a bubbly wording. Reminds me of when I was in junior high school and used to do bubble lettering on all of my textbooks. So that's kind of the event announcement itself. So now we got to get into all the leak stuff, because today, just this morning, the internet vomited with a bunch of leaks that I think that we can feel pretty comfortable in trusting and believing. I still have my reservations on some of them, but we'll talk about a little bit of that. So, Joe, take us through the leaks. What was said this morning?
Oh boy.
There was a lot. Like
Yeah.
like Joe's term of what was it? Phone vomit? What was it?
Yeah.
It was leak vomit.
Leak vomit was. There's a lot, a lot of stuff.
One of the interesting things about this slate of leaks is that it tells us not only just what we should expect, but definitely what we shouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like one of the things we've been kind of hemming and hawing all about is what is Apple going to do to us on October 13th? Because these aren't just like rumors from the supply chain. We've seen actual renders. We've seen coding in iOS 14 of all these things that Apple is definitely working on. And it just is a matter of when. So a lot of us were actually concerned that it was all going to happen on one day, because from our perspective as writers of this stuff, that's really intense to have to cover that kind of stuff all at once. As exciting as it is, and I want it all right now, I actually don't want it all at the same time.
I kind of like these really smaller, more focused events that Apple's doing, and it occurs to me that they can only do these sorts of things because they don't have to have hands-on afterwards. Like if they were doing hands-on and had to actually bring people out, something like this couldn't happen. And so what these leaks tell us is that this is a very focused, almost iPhone only event. We're going to throw in a random HomePod mini apparently, but.
So no Studio Pods, no AirPod Studio.
No AirPod Studio. No Max.
Apple Tags.
No Apple
Max.
Tags.
That one hurt.
In fact.
I know, I'm sorry, Georgia.
Just to rub salt in that wound, Georgia. Apparently no Apple AirTags until 2021, until March of 2021.
Yeah, I heard that. Renee dropped that news on me just to twist the knife as he brought it in.
And yeah, we've been hearing that AirTags are coming for a year now, and by the time they're out, it'll have been 18 months. We're never getting them.
I do have to say though, I think I was on MacBreak Weekly earlier this week, and Leo Laporte had said if they don't come at this event, they're never coming. And I kind of thought, I don't know about that. They might just be still needing a little more time.
And I want them to work well, right? Like I want them, but I do want them to work efficiently, effectively, to be hopefully waterproof. to not have to have a little tiny bean bag that you carried around in.
Yeah.
Maybe have
I
like
have
a
an
little
integrated
maybe.
like hook on
Yeah.
them, so you can put
Or
them
at
in
least a
keys.
hole that I could put my own hook or carabiner or something
Not-
that kind of. I don't
not
want to
an
buy a pouch.
accessory.
No.
Yeah, not an
I'd rather
accessory that I
not.
have to buy. That's you're asking too much, honestly.
It's,
Yeah.
it's just not useful.
Yeah.
That makes it less useful. It seems a little bit un-Apple-esque.
Unless they're magnetic.
But even if they're
No,
magnetic, you're going to stick them, like you put it in your purse and
Yeah.
suddenly your phone is like, something wrong with it. Like
right. All of your credit
Exactly.
cards get
Other
destroyed when you
stuff.
put it in your wallet.
suddenly
From-
transferred
credit
to something else it's not supposed to be and it's on some truck driving away. But like you want them to work well. I think that we always want all of our stuff yesterday, but we also want it to be efficient for it to work. So I'll wait till March. I think that they'll still be a wonderful product that would be helpful, but it is sad to hear it. I'm not gonna.
I know this was kind of the thing you were looking forward to even more than a new iPhone. You've been waiting so long. Yeah.
I have a good, my phone's good. It's good.
Yeah.
And
phone can wait. AirTags, your kids are going to get lost.
Speaking of phones,
Yeah.
Speaking of phones, the release schedule is apparently going to be a little funny this year. I think it was Digitimes that had this earlier in the year, which hat tip to Digitimes. Not a thing I say a lot, honestly, but
that might be the first time now.
Yeah, so it apparently we're going to get the 6.1 inch, both 6.1 inch iPhones first. The iPhone 12 and the iPhone 12 Pro. The iPhone 12 mini and iPhone 12 Pro Max are said to be launching in November, but the 12 and 12 Pro are apparently coming, pre-orders next Friday. So
the typical cycle
pre-orders next Friday, launching a week after that. So by this time next week, at least one of us may have already pre-ordered an iPhone.
Yeah, exactly. And that doesn't mean they won't be announced next Tuesday. It just means that they won't be available until sometime in November.
Yeah,
right?
I fully expect all four to grace it's not a stage, the video screen.
Yeah. It's the third episode. Joe, you had brought this up a long time ago. I think it was during WWDC that Joe had said, these are like Apple episodes. So episode 1, WWDC, episode 2, the Apple Watch event, and episode 3, there's more to come. So we're like halfway through the season right now.
So what I've got is I've been naming the fall product announcements. So we had the Phantom iPad.
right.
Episode 1.
Because we still don't have.
Not even out.
Yeah.
And then
True Phantom.
And so Tuesday we've got episode 2, Attack of the Phones. And then next month we'll have episode 3, Revenge of the Mac.
That's pretty good. It's pretty good. I like it.
It's pretty good.
And so, I would imagine Apple would focus on the 6.1 inch phones. I imagine those phones are exactly the same size. So all of the tooling and stuff, it's the same for both phones. So they can make the most of those.
And that's probably going to be the biggest seller. So that's the one they want to have the most of it. It totally makes sense that they're going to put all of their energy on the 2 most popular sizes. And then the other 2, they're on the back burner. They're coming. But if you want those, you're going to have to wait. Yeah.
They're kind of niche. The mini is going to be, it's not going to be, and just to set expectations, the mini's not going to be a super small phone.
Right.
It's going to be,
it is. It's going to be super small. You shut your face. It's going to be super small.
It's not going to be super small. It's going to be slightly smaller in physical size than the current iPhone SE, probably.
Yeah.
But
well,
it's not going to be
5.4 inch. It's not going to be a 4-inch iPhone. I realize that.
It's not.
And my expectations are not super high. I realize that it's not going to be that small.
I wish it would be that small.
I
would wait for that
you?
phone. For that phone, I would wait.
Wow.
All screen, but as small as the iPhone 5 or 4 or whatever you want to call that one, right?
Yeah.
All screen though. I would totally love that. It would be so cool.
I'd love it for a period of time when I'm holding it, and then I'd be like, I can't do the screen size. I don't want to zoom that far to be able to read everything.
I already can't. I've discovered this. I already can't read anything on any phone that I have. Like right now, by the way, everybody, sad news. I switched back to the 11 Pro, but only in preparation for the iPhone 12. So it's just temporary. It's just for another month or two. So even on the iPhone 11 Pro size screen, I have to triple tap. I have the zoom feature set for the triple tap shortcut so that I can just see it better, because my poor old lady eyes can't see anything on my phone anymore. It's so funny.
I'm not looking.
It doesn't matter how big the screen is. I'm gonna need to zoom to see things anyway. So I might as well have the tiny, beautiful little phone that I can snugly pack in my back pocket, and it doesn't make a mess, and it doesn't fall out, and I can hold it in one hand
and use it with one hand.
Yes, exactly.
And your phone with one hand. That's such a pipe dream.
Used to be a thing. Used to be a thing.
I know.
And we also have, the rumors also state, yes, no headphones or chargers.
Yeah.
This I find, I don't know. I think people are going to be really frustrated if this is their first phone.
Yeah, I think
so hopefully they have like something.
So there's a couple things. So the first thing is that, I mean, they had to have done their research, and they did even send out surveys to everyone, not everyone, to a bunch of people asking what they thought of not having it. I think in terms of the wall charger itself, I don't think that this is a bad idea. I think this is truly, honestly, and deeply a good method for reducing e-waste, in that if you literally don't have any way to plug your phone into something to charge it, including a computer, you can buy a wall charger for $2 on Amazon. So,
but do you trust a wall charger for $2 on Amazon in comparison?
The wall charger itself isn't the big deal. You know, it's the cable that makes it special. You know, so like, yeah, I think a lot of people are fine with any old wall charger. I don't think that's a problem. I think that's easy. That's an easy solution. And that's assuming that you live in a household where there are no wall chargers and no computers that will let you charge your device. It is less convenient in some circumstances, Georgia. I definitely don't disagree with that in concept, in that if for example, if there's two people that live in a house and there's only one wall charger, then, you know, you have to like take turns charging. So I get that. And that is also assuming that you don't buy a wireless charger, which is obviously the way Apple is trying to go right now, is to encourage everyone to use wireless charging. They're, you know, obviously year after year, they're going to perfect it more and more. And at some point we might even have true wireless charging where you don't even have to set it on a pad. So, but for me, I think the lack of headphones is a bigger deal than not, in that I do think that that's a thing that, you know, people who don't have a lot of technology, people who this is their first device, things like that, that is a benefit to have something that you can plug in to listen to, as, you know, like headphones. So that one I think is a little bit of a disappointment to hear they're doing that. Again, I understand like it's going to reduce e-waste significantly, because for those of us that have phones year after year after year, I bet you, I know I have at least 4 pair of earbuds, Apple earpods. I haven't even used that word in so long. I forgot what they were called, in my closet, that are still in their little paper wrap that I've never touched.
But so, I think that we're the minority, right? I think that people that buy phones every year is such a minority in comparison, and they're flimsy, right? Like I always like protect the nibs because they are constantly fraying. And you know, like getting rid of the plastic, I understand, because even though I love these, this is where I travel, I put them back. I know how to wrap it. I put it back into a little plastic piece that used to be there so that it doesn't get wound up. I can understand moving from that to paper, but I think that for a lot of people, they don't have them. They break, they fray, they get chewed up by something, or the dog eats them because you've left them around. I think that the reason that it bothers me with the charger is that really, if your phone then dies out, you have to wait for a period of time before you get one, which I think is completely unfair for a phone. You should be able to charge your bloody technology when you get it. Like that doesn't even, like, to me, that's kind of like a deal breaker. You should be able to charge your phone when you get it and be able to use it right away, not worry for 2 days. Or if you don't have Amazon or you're not in a place where it's going to, make sense or it doesn't deliver there, like for longer than that, that seems ridiculous to me. And then I think also for the earbuds, like we need them. You need to be able to listen to your phone in privacy for everyone, which is, I think, peaceful for everyone else. No one wants to hear your conversations. Please don't put it on speaker and travel and public transport.
Yeah.
And so I find that's just kind of really sad. And I don't think that it's going to really save e-waste in comparison to the amount of phones that, they're mostly not recyclable. Like they say they recycle them, but they're mostly still not recyclable, the phones.
Mm. Oh yeah. I mean, they can take them apart and reuse some of it, but there's definitely a lot of the.
But Apple, they also have a whole bunch of phones destroyed and taken apart and just use the stuff that they could when they could actually send them back out into the ecosphere, but that doesn't work for their bottom line.
Zing. Let's talk a little bit about the rumor of a magnetic charging accessory. So in line with no charging port in the box. Let's see. There is a new Magsafe charging accessory alongside the iPhone 12 that is Magsafe, which is pretty exciting. It is a 15-watt wireless charging option for the iPhone 12. There will be a new magnetic iPhone case for charging, 2 new chargers, and a Magsafe Duo charger. Let's see. I haven't had a chance to read up on this one. Joe, do you know the details about what this means?
So this is from a leaker called Kang, who also nailed the details of the iPad Air reveal. Everything, including the colors, which nobody else had before that event. So let's see. Kang is saying that this is going to be MagSafe. I miss MagSafe being a Mac thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
That was beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, I don't personally because I still use a Mac with MagSafe on it, but it saddens me that I can't buy a MacBook with MagSafe. So it's good to see that.
Really awesome.
Yeah.
Because it magnetic, for those that don't know, it magnetically kind of fit onto your Mac, and then it would just if someone walked by the wire, because let's just say the wires are like 3 feet long, like they're just way too short, so they're hanging across something, it would just magnetically release, and your MacBook or whatever else is not going to go flying.
Yeah,
right.
And
I don't know if I have done this multiple times where, tripping over a cord, either my MacBook goes flying or I bend the cable, I bend the USB-C port because it just yanks because I've pulled on it really hard and it didn't come off and the Mac didn't fall off the table. So yeah. A MagSafe is such a wonderful thing. And the fact that they don't have MagSafe anymore is just mind blowing. I don't know why.
I think that everyone loved them. I don't know anyone that was like, oh, and you didn't have to really finagle to get it in. It just kind of boop, and it was a very satisfying feeling when it you knew it connected and it felt good, and you could just yank it off you don't have to really worry about damaging anything. They last forever. And yeah, I have kids, so and me, I'm clumsy, so we're always running into the wires. So bring that back.
Yeah, I know. But they're maybe potentially bringing it back for the iPhone 12.
Yeah, and it's interesting. This is apparently going to be a separate accessory for wireless charging, and according to Kang, this MagSafe accessory uses 15-watt wireless charging, which is kind of it's a substantial boost in the wireless charging capabilities of the iPhone, which I think are still limited to 10 watts at most.
Is it 7 or 10? It's definitely not more than 10.
It started at 5, and then there was in the first generation that supported wireless charging. Then it got a bump through a software update to I think 7.5. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that is right. Yeah.
And I don't know if it has gotten to 10. I may have just been imagining that.
You may have been hoping for that because I don't think it does charge up to 10 yet. I think it's still at 7.5.
So if it's still 7.5, this is a double. This is a doubling of wireless charging capacity.
Well, now the Magsafe is a 15-watt power source, but that doesn't necessarily mean the phone charges at 15 watts. That we'll find out. Why they would make it 15 watts to me assumes that the iPhone supports that power, but a 15-watt power charger does not mean they don't. It's not bold. It doesn't mean that the iPhone is 15 watts.
So digging into this a little further. What this is, this is multiple accessories. So what these accessories are, according to this leak, we've got it's a magnetic charging case. I think that's probably to better align your iPhone with a charging coil. Let's see. So we've got a magnetic charging case and 2 new Magsafe wireless chargers for iPhone. And something called the Magsafe Duo charger, which that says multi-device.
Like maybe an AirPods Lite. Yeah. You know, it doesn't work with the Apple Watch necessarily, but it will work with 2 iPhones at the same time.
Yeah. So yeah, like so your iPhone or maybe like your AirPods charging if you got a wireless charging case for those
with magnetic.
Yeah.
I like the idea of that.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but a lot of my wireless pads, some of them have like they're really nice aesthetic, but they have this bad habit of the phone, if it's not in a case, it slips off the charging pad because it's like just enough of an incline that it like just slowly over time creeps to the side and then suddenly it's fallen off the charging case.
So the problem that I run into, and this was the problem that AirPower was actually supposed to solve, is the finickiness, not for the iPhone. The iPhone's easy on the mat that I use. It's the AirPods case. Like it's such a small target to put on a thing. And this is a mat with 3 coils in it and only 3 coils. And one of the features of AirPower was supposed to be multiple coils everywhere. And that was, I think, one of the problems bringing that product to market is that has it's
overpowered.
It's overpowered and it overheats.
Yeah.
So what I would imagine that these MagSafe accessories do is align everything to a smaller set. I would imagine there's still multiple coils in the Duo, the supposed MagSafe Duo, but they kind of align better.
So magnetic charging, does that mean our phones are going to have magnets in them, or does it mean our...
That's the question, I think, because the leak mentions these magnetic charging cases, and I think this is probably a lot like it sounds to me a lot like Mophie's current lineup. So Mophie has a line of cases that you can put your phone in, and then these cases magnetically attach to Mophie's special magnetic wireless charger.
Right. Okay.
And so to like really take advantage of it, maybe you have
a magnetic
case and like, I don't know.
Listen, a magnetic case is a win across the board for me because I don't know again about you guys, but I have various clear cases with a little metal thing stuck to the back of them so that I can use them with charging cases, so that I can use them with magnetic mounts in my car. So an iPhone charging case where maybe the case itself charges, or maybe the case is magnetic so that you can just plop it on any magnetic thing. I would love that. I would love to be able to just...
it centers it nice and perfectly, and you don't have to worry and it's going to charge at its max efficiency, because that's the problem. If you have a big mat, you're like, man, it doesn't really charge and you're frustrated.
Yeah.
But
I love this idea. Yeah.
I wonder
I'm on
if
board.
I would wonder if these mats work without the charging case. I mean, speaking as someone who regularly just carries around his iPhone without a case, and causes
Because
static.
the static.
You know, I
wanna
I don't
do
want to
that.
get it. I don't want to get.
Mine doesn't
I
do
don't
that.
want to get a case just for charging, and like just for the express purpose.
Right. No, you're right.
Allowing it easier.
If the case is sort of complementary to the overall charging system, then that's good. But if it's like you have to get the charging case to use it with this MagSafe charger, that would be a bummer. Yeah,
It
you're
would
right.
be a big old bummer.
So is that coming at the Apple event?
So it's unclear. I think Kang is indicating that these accessories are for the iPhone 12.
Okay, so
So
they'd
it
be
would make sense.
probably announced, if not
Yeah.
available, at least
I would bet
announced.
they're
at
not.
that
I would
time.
bet they're not available. What's available immediately these days, except for the Apple
Yeah.
Watch?
Especially
that's
now with the way that the world is.
Yeah.
But like that they're going to be mentioned and that these are
Oh,
going to
yeah.
be what's coming out when you get your phone.
I wouldn't be
soon.
surprised if there's a
Easy to
date,
get.
so that we don't have talk of AirPower again. Because if Apple shows us a charging product without a date, again, I'm not going to believe that it's coming.
I don't think they're going to make that same mistake. I do not think they're going to do that again. They were so excited about AirPower, and because they couldn't get the technology right, there was a huge moan of disappointment from the tech community about them canceling it, even though I think we know the rumors that they are actually still working on it behind the scenes. But no, I don't think they will ever make that mistake again of telling you what's coming without having like 100%. I think that's might be why AirTags hasn't been even talked about yet, is that they're not going to announce it until they're sure that they can put it in our hands.
Which
Yeah,
is
right now,
which is good.
Mhm,
Yeah, right
mhm.
now AirTags is still a product that we think are coming.
Right.
Yeah.
That
we
may
think
never
exist.
happen. Just break my heart.
Right. But unlike AirPower, we have hope and speculation for as long as it takes. But with AirPower, it was like, where's AirPower? Where's AirPower? Where's AirPower? Oh, they canceled AirPower. They're doomed. So they're not going to do that again.
Yeah, they're not doing that again.
That's
But
the answer to
there's-
everything, though.
Yeah, they're
Have
always
to.
doomed. What about the screen display? So I'm very excited about this. So again, keep in mind, my plan is to buy the mini, but I'm telling you, there are some things that make me think, am I making the right decision for the mini? Because I bet that's not coming to the mini. So Super Retina XDR display with new screen glass technology, ceramic shield front cover. What is all of this?
Okay, so this is what it is getting out of hand. Oh, this is a lot. So
Yeah.
this is another leak for this morning. This leak from, who is this from?
Weibo?
No, this is from Kang.
Oh,
This is another.
Kang, yep.
So
Yeah.
this might very well
Kang
happen.
dropped it all.
So Kang is claiming that all four. So this isn't just for the Pro phones.
Yes.
All four. Lori, I'm so happy that
Give me my mini.
the displays are going to be what Apple will call Super Retina XDR. Now, Super Retina is something I think that's a term that they've used, or am I confusing?
They've used it.
Okay.
They've used it for the iPad Pro.
Okay. So Super Retina XDR. So XDR is Apple's terminology for extreme dynamic range, not just high dynamic range. It's extreme.
After a while, they're going to have to find some other wording. I'm just like, super extreme.
Ultra.
Yeah. Well, that's
ultra
where
dynamic range.
where the XDR comes in. It's
Right,
like that's
exactly.
the transition to a new phrasing. Yeah.
Right.
So Super Retina XDR. This is, I mean, this just means it's going to have like an extremely high dynamic range.
Yeah, so
probably not to the
man,
degree-
we definitely need to bring Renee next week on. Renee, if you're
Yeah.
listening, will you come on the show next week and talk about
need
what
to, man.
Super Retina XDR means for an iPhone? Because Renee and I have seen, I don't know, maybe you've seen it too, like in stores in person, but the Apple XDR display, the Pro display, Pro Display XDR, the
Yeah,
XDR Pro display.
The Pro Display XDR.
It is mind-blowing how gorgeous everything looks on that screen. I am one of those people that I don't really see significant differences between like 4K and 5K and stuff like that. So for me to notice a difference means like it was incredible. Now, obviously, this isn't a $4,000 monitor, so it's not going to be that level of technology, but I'm imagining that they're using that phrasing because the blacks are going to be blacker than they've ever been and the reds are going to be brighter than they've ever been.
And it won't matter
excited.
if you're in the sun or you're not in the sun, you're going to be able to see everything.
Well, we'll see that. I mean, yeah, the iPhones
matte screens.
I know iPhones with nano texture coating. The first iPhone you can't touch.
So cool.
First iPhone you can't
right,
touch.
the first iPhone you can't touch. Yeah.
There are rumors that they're working on touch capable nano texture.
Yeah.
We'll see that in 10 years or whatever. But yeah,
right.
so Super Retina Xdr really points to very high dynamic range. It's gonna blow high dynamic range stuff out of the water. It's gonna be great. But the thing that really excites me about this is this ceramic shield front cover.
Yeah. What does that even mean?
So okay. If you have an iPhone, you've scratched its screen. You have,
Yep.
I don't care if you, even if you put it.
Let's see. Where are the scratches on this one?
I have huge gash scratches. I've done the screen protector. I hate them. I have gashes in my phone. I don't even know where I got them from. So I'm 100% with, I need more protection for my phone. Laura,
interestingly,
no?
The iPhone 10 and iPhone 10s, I had both of those, just like you're saying, literal gashes. Like, how did that happen? Where did that come from? It was so frustrating. Both of those phones, I had that happen. But with the iPhone 11, I think they must have improved the coating at least a little bit. Now, Georgia, I don't know if you have one of the 11 phones and you do have a gash too, but I saw no gashes for the 11 Pro. Again, I have not been using it since March. Or whenever the iPhone SE came out, April, I think it was. So it's been like half a year that it just sat on a shelf not being used. But I didn't see the scratches as much as I had previously.
So this super ceramic, or not super ceramic, this ceramic shield is supposed to be a coating that goes over the glass. Excuse me, like the I guess sort of like another or sort of like the oilophobic coating that's already on there.
Right.
So just get another brush and actually coat it
and paint it on.
Paint it on.
So does that mean that Gorilla Glass is it's kaput? Because I know that they had a contract, or they were in collaboration with Gorilla Glass for the longest time. I don't know. It might be Gorilla Glass with a coating.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's probably Gorilla Glass with a coating, because I mean the glass is fairly strong, but it's glass. It's prone to scratches. No matter what Apple does, and if it's regular glass, it's Ion X glass, it scratches because it's glass.
Right.
There was a talk years ago of Apple trying to get sapphire displays onto iPhones, and that never really panned out. But as the owner of a stainless steel Apple Watch for like the last few years as well, I have not scratched sapphire glass. And I think I
have a scratch on my sapphire glass, but I think it was like I really whacked it against something.
You really have to whack it. It is tough stuff. And I think this sort of ceramic coating, because ceramic is gonna hold up against scratch situations. And I think this is Apple's way of trying to get a little bit of that toughness onto the iPhone screen, even if they can't, make sapphire work, even if they, we can't have a ceramic screen.
I wonder if they'll put it on the backside too, because I think, Joe, you don't wear a case, you don't use a case, so the back of your phone probably eventually gets all those nasty little micro abrasions that are kind of annoying. And well, never mind. I guess the back of the phone is fine. I always use a case, so I never really look at the back of my phone. So
I have this weird habit where I don't use a case in my house, but whenever I leave the house, I put it in a case. I don't know I don't know why my pocket is less secure when I'm out of my house than when I'm in my house, but it is. I know in my heart that it is. So
Well, that makes sense. There's
yeah,
more.
so
There's more leaks. There's more information.
we have all of the leaks. It's every
I
leak
know.
in
So
existence.
let's talk really quick about the 5G thing. We brought it up a little bit, but what are the details? So there's a lot of talk about two different types of 5G, and that is an episode all its own. But
Oh my God.
for people listening that don't really know like anything about 5G, there's two different types of 5G. There's millimeter wave and there's sub-6. And
Yeah.
sub-6 is more ubiquitous and it's more I'm sorry.
Wide-ranging.
Wait, go ahead and talk. I just had
Yeah.
like this loud thing just happened and I'm just
So,
checking my front porch.
If you missed the beginning days of 4G and being confused about what is LTE versus WiMAX, good news, folks. We're there again.
You have something else to be confused about.
Yeah, it's the beginning of a new cellular generation. It wouldn't be the beginning of a new cellular generation without a Betamax versus videotape fight of its own. So with 5G, just try to do a quick rundown here. You've got sub-6 and you've got millimeter wave, or wave as it's written out everywhere. Sub-6 is in a lot of ways, but not in every way. It's kind of like LTE plus almost. How's Renee? Renee's put it like it fulfill and Android Central's Daniel Bader also uses this sort of phrasing. It is sort of fulfilled the promise of what LTE was supposed to be. It is a much it's lower frequency, so it's not as fast. Sometimes it often matches the speed of LTE, or it's only a little faster, but it's broader, much broader reaching than wave, and it's lower power compared to wave as well. So it's not going to eat your battery as terribly as it will. wave. Oh my God. This technology is very exciting and essentially useless.
That's a good way to put it.
So millimeter wave is really great for densely populated areas where you can put a lot of towers, a lot of like mini towers, even on every corner or on top of every building, because it is high frequency, so extremely fast, but because it's high frequency, it's also very short range, and kind of, I would describe it as a fragile signal. You turn wrong, you look at it funny, you're out of luck. I hope it becomes a viable consumer technology at some point, but Verizon insists on acting like it already is. So
yeah. So then with the information of the two different 5G styles that like exist in the world, or at least will soon exist in the world, if not, now.
Yeah.
What is the iPhone 12 lineup going to look like in terms of the 5G, its 5G capability?
So, this is interesting, and there's a little ambiguity here in this leak. This is another Kang leak. Thank you, Kang. So the big news here is that the millimeter wave iPhone, the one that comes equipped with the high frequency, high data version of 5G, is going to be US only to start. So
all phones will get 5G, but only US phones will get millimeter wave or wave.
Right.
Okay.
And so 5G is deploying across the world right now, but sub-6 is by far the more consumer friendly network type at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I wonder about this leak, so for the longest time, we've been hearing that millimeter wave would either be restricted just to the Pro line or specifically to the iPhone 12 Pro Max, which would make sense because of battery and just size and just including that antenna. So this leak doesn't seem to indicate that that is going to be true, but it still might be. It doesn't say it's not. It doesn't say that it's coming to the wave is coming to all the iPhones. It just says that the mmWave iPhone 12 is going to be US only for now.
Right. So if I got a new iPhone, let's say I got the model of iPhone that had mmWave, does that mean my phone won't work if I don't live near a tower that has that capability?
I think it means
Does it mean that my phone's going to drop if it's, if I'm like standing behind a tree?
What I would hope it would mean is if you're not receiving mmWave signal, it defaults back to sub-6. And I don't know enough about Verizon's network. I know Verizon is rolling out mmWave. I don't know if they also have sub-6.
Oh, that's true. That was one of the things we early on was like what carriers will be supporting which 5G. So yeah, whether or not. So then I have Verizon. That's my carrier. So if I get a millimeter wave iPhone and I don't have millimeter wave in my area, will it revert to 4G instead of 5G? Is that what might happen?
So I'm looking at Verizon. I'm looking at Verizon's 5G technology Q&A or FAQ right now.
Uh-huh.
Oh boy. So I want to read this out to people.
It didn't sound like a good oh boy.
I know. It sounds like exhausting.
It's never a good it's never a good oh boy. Not in the fall. Not this deep into the year. So to the question, what's the technology behind 5G? Part of Verizon's answer is some are embracing spectrum at the frequencies below 6 gigahertz or sub-6. Verizon, on the other hand, is uniquely positioned to make use of the higher spectrum, which really sounds like they don't have a sub-6 network. So what's probably going to happen is your iPhone is going to switch over to 4G. That's what I think that's probably what's going to happen. Now, the other part of this leak, this 5G leak, is this new mode for iPhone 12 models called Smart Data Mode. So what this is according to Kang, from his understanding, their understanding is that 4G and 5G is allocated according to the application bandwidth. So if the application on the phone needs more bandwidth, it'll go through the 5G pipe.
Okay.
And if it needs less, or maybe like email,
if I'm trying to download a movie that I want to watch while I'm on the plane, it'll pop on over to the 5G mmWave and give me that bandwidth to quickly download. Yeah. Which, honestly, I have that literal exact experience. I was flying home from Japan, and we were at the airport when we were transitioning from one flight to another, and we had about an hour and a half between flights. And I'm sitting there with Wi-Fi enabled. I have full access to the internet at that particular time at that airport, but I wanted to download some TV shows and movies before we hopped on the plane. So I'm like quickly hitting the download button, and they're just like crawling to download. And so even if millimeter wave only existed in places like airports and hospitals and malls, like places where you could put them inside and have quick access only sometimes, like even that to me would be a huge benefit. And it would make mmWave worth it, not if it's more expensive, but worth it just in general in terms of technologies, the existence of the technology. I would really like that. Disneyland, I mean, when I go to the times when I went to Disneyland before everything shut down, I would just constantly have choking points trying to use the internet because everybody around was also trying to use it. So increasing bandwidth and kind of basically like opening up the world, the internet world in places would be pretty beneficial under certain circumstances.
Definitely. It's all about, will your phone connect to it? Will the connection be reliable?
Right.
But it also doesn't mean that your phone won't work if you don't have a connection. It will revert to another thing. So in Verizon's case, maybe it reverts to 4G. In other circumstances, it might revert to sub-6, depending on like what's around. Your phone won't stop working. It just might not work as fast. Which for anybody who's had phones long enough, that's exactly the way the transition from 3G to 4G
Oh, yeah.
worked, is that, and from 4G to 4G LTE, which is
Yeah.
when you're not near it, it doesn't connect to it. And you don't, as a user, you don't even notice the difference. Like you're
Yeah,
just,
I
you're
mean,
using your phone, the end.
I mean, I think it still works like that. The current iPhones come with 3G radios still.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah.
Do they come with do they connect to 2G networks still?
I do
don't
not know
know.
that. I don't think I've ever seen 2G. I have seen 3G on my phone, but I've never seen 2G on it. So I don't know about that.
Yeah.
That was so long ago. There's still more leaks. So
How are there
next-
still
I
more?
know. Let's talk about what's next. There's so many great things to talk about. Oh, so colors, pricing, and storage. Talk about that one. So we already know we're expecting 4 different sizes of phone: a 5.4 inch iPhone 12 mini, a 6.1 inch iPhone 12, a 6.1 inch iPhone 12 Pro, and a 6.7 inch iPhone 12 Pro Max. So prices, what's the starting price? What's the lowest I can spend without having to buy an iPhone SE, which, by the way, it's still a great phone. Everybody should get one.
So it looks like, according to this leak, which guess who? It's from Kang again. So Kang is saying that the starting price for the iPhone 12 mini is $699, and that looks like, and that's the current starting price of the iPhone 11.
Okay.
So it looks like that the starting price of the line is going to stick at $699. We'd heard maybe a little cheaper earlier in the year, but it looks like,
So it's more likely that even though the iPhone 12 mini is smaller than the iPhone 11, that one is still going to be sort of the base price model.
Yeah, and that would lead me to believe also that it and the iPhone 12, the 6.1 inch version, are essentially the same phone except for the size. Which would be great. That'd be great. Apple's been doing that with the iPad line for a while, and that's just great.
And that
Same
one will
thing,
be
just
black, white, red, blue, and green.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that they're keeping the green. I think that's a good color. So the fact that, if this is true, the fact that they're keeping it another year, I think is good.
So here's the question, though. What green do we think this is? Like, do we think this is like? Do we think Apple's going to stick with the
green now?
Yeah, they've got that sort of brighter iPad green, and that green is sort of more in line with the green from the iPhone 11. It's like brighter and more pastel. So do we think Apple's going to stick with the more pastel colors on the mainstream iPhones, the 12 and 12 mini?
Right. I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense, because the iPhone XR, the iPhone 11 standard, not Pro, they got the bright colored lineups, the pastel colored lineups, whereas the Pro models got the more sort of like
mature,
subtle,
mature looking colors. More responsible colors.
Yeah. The colors that know how to manage their money or something.
Right. As a pro should.
Yeah.
They look more professional.
Now, what's
versus those ones are a little more fun.
Yeah.
Right? Would that be fair?
We should also note the standard iPhone 12, the 6.1 inch version is said to start at $100 more from the iPhone 12 mini, so $799. And both of those are apparently starting with 64 gigabytes of storage, although that's been rumored for a little while now that that wouldn't be the case. Now, on the Pro models, those are apparently getting a little bit of a bump and not a price increase with that bump.
Which is really nice. I love that Apple is constantly trying to keep that same price point. Even like they manipulate other things in order to keep the 2 Pro phones at the same price point, which is really impressive.
So still starting, Pro and Pro Max still starting at $999 and $1099 respectively, but at 128 gigabytes instead of 64, which might mean I can get the base model of iPhone 12 Pro this year, because I can't use 64 gigabytes anymore, but
interesting.
But 256 gigabytes it is still, there's still plenty of room, so I could move down to 128.
Uh-huh. That's
Yeah.
Georgia, do you use what size storage do you usually buy, and do you max it out, or are you still like well under with that?
I max it out, and I've maxed out my iCloud and had to upgrade my iCloud because I store tons of video, and I unfortunately
Uh-huh.
am not changing my video size, which like I should just change the video size. Don't keep the resolution maxed out either. I think that I lowered the resolution actually, but I'm always, and I like to keep everything on my phone. I
Mhm.
really do. I don't like to I have had to move and kind of like just leave everything in the cloud and put it onto our backups and not have it on my phone. But I used to store all my photos forever on my
On your
device because I want to go back to it. And I'm like, oh, I want it to be on my phone directly, and I don't want to have to go through that process of waiting.
Yeah.
So I will max out, but probably I would
Right.
do that no matter what it is. I'm more careful
Mhm.
now because I've I just keep on having to pay for more iCloud storage because I can't do it all. So I'm probably like the use case of that, that family member that just loves taking tons and tons of photos and video of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm constantly saying you don't need the bigger phone. You don't need more storage. There's so many cloud-based options out there, and the two of you both actually suffer from overuse of store or overuse of onboard storage, I guess is what I mean.
Yeah.
Because I am the person who everything goes into the cloud. The only thing that's on my phone are mini versions of them. Like I am constantly like storage managing so that the phone itself does not take up that much storage. And I've been very happy with lower. I don't think I could handle. I think 32 I might max out if that were still a number that I might reach past that. But in terms of 64, I've always felt that it's been fine. I haven't like if I download movies or podcasts or something like that, I watch them, I listen to them, and then I auto delete them off the phone. I have all the things turned on for storage saving stuff, all of those little things that Apple offers to help you, increase your storage and manage it better. So for me personally, I'm okay. So, and I bring this up only because I've been hearing a lot of complaints that 64 gigs is ridiculously small at this point in technology. So hearing that I'm kind of the outlier here, that I'm the kind of person who not everyone's like me, that lots of people run out of storage on their phone, and 64 is kind of too low for a lot of people.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm really happy, assuming this pans out, I'm really happy that Apple's, essentially doubling the base storage.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume so I think, is it right now it's 64, 256 and 512 gigabytes for the
Right.
Pro.
Yeah.
I would assume 256 gigabytes and 512 both stick around.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is the year for a 1 terabyte iPhone.
Yeah, probably not.
Doesn't feel like
seems
it.
pretty high. Yeah.
I mean, they're 1 terabyte iPads, so like, who knows? But
So then
let's talk about colors.
I was just going to say, with the Pro lineup, the colors are changing, right?
Yeah. So, yeah. This year with the Apple Watch, the stainless steel Apple Watch, we got a new dark color. So instead of space black, and it's never been space gray, we've got graphite, which is more of a gray,
Dark
like a
gray.
blackish gray. Yeah.
Right. It's
So-
black. It's just that it's not. It's like a slightly different version of black.
So it looks like the gold and silver options stick around, although what the gold
I
looks
bet
like
the gold
can change
option
from
is
year to
probably.
year.
I bet the gold option is going to be the classic gold, the way they did
Sort
with
of-
the Apple Watch.
Sort of like yellow gold.
Mhm. Yeah, with the stainless steel Apple Watch.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't be at all surprised. So gold and silver is sticking around, whatever gold looks like. And then we've got graphite and blue are the rumors. Now, it just says blue. It doesn't say midnight blue, but Kang's leak for the iPad Air, I don't think said sky blue, and that's what Apple calls the blue on the iPad.
Mm-hmm.
So this is
But then
probably
the Apple Watch is just called blue.
yeah.
It's not called midnight blue, but it's dark.
Well, that's the question. So the green on the 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max last year, I think, is midnight green.
Mm-hmm. It is called that. Yes.
So
which
I
is
wonder.
weird because it's not green at midnight. So I don't know why why you would call green midnight.
So the blue on the Apple Watch isn't really midnight blue.
No,
No, it's
It's
more of
very dark, but I
like
it's
wouldn't
very
call
dark,
it.
but it wouldn't be midnight. Like you
it's
can
like
tell
off,
it's blue.
It's like off royal. It's like off royal.
It's like a dark jean blue.
Yeah.
Can you see
So
that?
that's the
It
question.
almost just looks like the lighting makes it blue.
Yeah.
It's almost black,
Yes.
Yeah.
but that's blue.
But
This
you
is
can
the
tell it's
Apple
blue.
Watch.
It's not
Yeah.
that blue black that you're like not really sure where midnight blue is. This you like, which is I think beautiful. I love like if you're gonna buy a blue phone or a blue watch or like you're doing it because you want that blueness
color.
to
Right.
kind of come out.
Yeah,
So-
definitely.
So my question about this is, do we think Apple goes with like midnight blue, which we know what Apple midnight blue looks like? They've put or I do. I'm intimately familiar. I've got a watch band in midnight blue. I've got a midnight blue case somewhere. They've put out midnight blue stuff forever. Do we think they'll go with that? So in line with the midnight green, or do we think they'll use this Apple Watch blue? Because I'd really like them to use the Apple Watch blue.
I'm thinking they're going with the Apple Watch.
I would like
Because
that.
don't they usually like, they try to make sets of stuff. And I know
Yeah.
like, so I had when they had the rose gold, I had the watch and I had the little charging pad and I had the phone and then I had my MacBook. And for a period of time, they were all, I believe, the same color of rose gold. They changed the rose gold after.
Yeah.
It still was close, but this was a really rose gold set that I had, which was ridiculous that I have everything. But it was kind of cute. If you're going to get it, you might as well match. Is my thought.
Right.
Yeah, I'm curious to see assuming they go with the Apple Watch blue. I'm curious to see what that looks like on shiny stainless steel,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Yeah.
what the pros will probably be banded in,
Right.
like they currently are. So, what does that? Does it look a little funny? Or maybe this band is still like silver or graphite or whatever, and then the body itself on the glass on the back is blue.
Right. Yeah. So like the way the gold iPhone lineup is, it's the band is gold, but the back is actually white. Like that kind of, or is that silver?
No, I think
it's
I think nowadays it's gold on the back because they've got that
Oh, okay.
that frosted glass.
Yes.
I don't know
Okay.
if it's easier to color gold or whatever.
Yeah. All right. We've got one more rumor before the show ends. So this has to do with some pretty interesting camera bumps for the Pro models. Joe, take it away.
So 1 second. Yeah. Lots of big upgrades for the camera this year too. So I think the one that really sticks out to me is Dolby Vision support, like actually shooting in Dolby Vision.
Yeah.
Which,
that,
yeah.
What does that mean?
spatial
It's very
audio,
exciting.
spatial
That's like-
audio has been life-changing to me. So shooting in Dolby
Well,
and
but-
using
so-
spatial, yeah.
So
how is
So
this?
here's the thing. First of all, don't confuse Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos. These cameras are supposed to shoot. These cameras are supposed to shoot in Dolby Vision. So this is like shooting
Okay.
in HDR.
Oh.
So
Ah.
they kind of do this. They kind of shoot in like sort of a generic HDR already.
Mhm.
Like they support HDR output.
Right. Yeah.
But so shooting directly in Dolby Vision, Dolby Vision versus say like HDR10, I think is like at least a leap, if not multiple leaps ahead in terms of just range of colors you get.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that's very exciting. So like if you're shooting on like a standalone camera, you're shooting video on a standalone camera, you're going to shoot in a sort of flat color profile. And that way, when you grade the color, you have just more data to manipulate.
Mhm.
So you can do things like grade 4 Dolby Vision. This seems like it's going to shoot directly. All 4 of them, by the way, are going to shoot directly in Dolby Vision. Also improvements to Deep Fusion and night mode, which I think we could guess, but yeah, and an upgrade for Smart HDR.
So is the
For photos.
iPhone 12 and iPhone 12 mini also going to have night mode and deep fusion and all that stuff?
Sounds like. And so
Ooh.
when it comes to actual specs
Mhm.
for the cameras, here's what we've got. So iPhone 12 mini. And so iPhone 12 mini and iPhone 12 are both going to be dual camera phones.
Okay.
And it's going to be the basic setup of the iPhone 11 last year. So wide angle and ultra wide. Now this leak says f1.6. So that's the maximum aperture.
Mhm.
And I wonder if that is for both of them. I don't think it would be. Because
Isn't the current Apple Watch Pro line 1.7 already? Am I wrong about that?
No. So the current iPhone Pros are, I think their wide angle is 1.8.
Okay. Okay.
So let's look at the current specs. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, on the 11 right now. So the current dual camera phone, the wide is f1.8, while the ultra wide is f2.4.
Okay. So this descriptor might just be talking about like one of them, not both of them.
It's
And,
I would imagine it's referring to the ultra or to the standard wide angle lens rather
Right.
than the ultra wide.
Right.
Maybe they got the ultra wide down to 2 or something.
Mhm.
Now for the pro models, we've got that's interesting. 3 cameras, just like last year, wide angle, ultra wide, and telephoto, plus a LiDAR sensor.
Mhm.
I don't know what this means. A new wide angle 7P lens. Maybe
Yeah.
means 7 megapixels, why? That doesn't make sense to me. Maybe there's some terminology I'm not getting here. But f1.6, I mean, because that would be a substantial downgrade.
Well, this is just one of the.
But it's the
So
standard
so
one.
it has
It's the
wide
standard lens.
angle, ultra wide, plus LiDAR. Well, the way in which this this tweet is written, you have to take grammar into consideration.
Yep, that's
So
true.
you have to use those commas. So it's saying that there are 3 shots, and within those 3 shots, there's wide angle, ultra wide, and telephoto and LiDAR. That's comma 1.
Yeah.
Then there's a second comma that says wide angle with a new 7P
Oh.
lens. So this could be
7P
like a
lens.
fourth.
Could be elements. It could be a new
Oh,
7.
yes.
It could be a 7
And
element lens.
doesn't this
7
the
element lens. That makes
11
more
Pro,
sense. Yes.
doesn't the 11 Pro use a 5P lens?
This is all starting to make more sense now.
There we
I think
go.
it does use 5. Yeah.
So
There was some terminology
if
we
the
were missing there,
11
people.
uses the 5, for its ultra wide, and it uses 6P for the wide
Uh-huh.
angle and telephoto,
Uh-huh.
all 3, does it say that all 3 are using the wide angle is going to be a 7P?
Right.
So yeah, it looks like all 4 of these phones are going to have the same wide angle camera, because this one's also f1.6. Looks like 65 millimeter focal length on the telephoto, and the entire system can provide 5 times optical zoom. That's, I would imagine, from ultra wide to telephoto.
Right. Which is
4
pretty
times
impressive.
optical zoom is incredible.
That is
Yeah.
pretty good.
That's
pretty
really
good.
incredible.
I like it.
I use that all the
But
time.
I'm not going to buy it.
I'm like, boop.
I'm not going to buy it over an iPhone mini just for that, though. I'm just putting that out there right now. As cool as that
Just saying,
is.
when you have to read something that's really small.
Oh, yeah. I think they don't. So this doesn't indicate that there's any sort of change in the actual sensor size. Like, is it getting bumped up to 16 megapixels? There have been rumors that it was going to have a 64 megapixel sensor in the standard lens, and so that's like that would put it on par with like the Galaxy phones from earlier in this year, the Galaxy S20 phones. And I think what that would actually end up meaning is not 64 megapixel photos, but rather like quad sharpness 16 megapixel photos.
Mhm.
So just like super sharp.
Yeah, so then the sensor might go up to 16 megapixels, but then to have 64 computational, like that's what that would be about. Maybe, yeah, that actually kind of makes sense. Like the multiplication factor in there.
Yeah. Apparently the biggest difference between the iPhone 12 Pro and the iPhone 12 Pro Max will be the sensor size for the cameras. The 12 Pro Max is said to have a 47% larger sensor. And the Pro Max's ultra wide camera will be sort of expansive. So it looks like there are going to be substantial camera differences in between the two top line phones. And obviously between the top line phones and the other two phones, because there's their whole camera and a LiDAR sensor. Yeah. Oh my God.
Lots of big camera stuff. There's no information about the front facing camera right now, but presumably it's not going to change from the current. They rarely update the technology.
As better as they can make it.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see more megapixels or anything like that. I think it's at least for a little while. That's just where we're at with the front facing camera. So, well, we did it. We went just about 10 minutes over, but we got through all of the rumors that just came out just this morning. So this was all kind of last minute stuff. So this has been really exciting. When we talk next week, we will have everything. We will know everything. So we'll be able to kind of go based on what we've heard as to what came out. So yeah, this is it, guys. Next week is a new iPhone. It's finally here. It's finally happening. Finally. All right. So thank you everyone who jumped in today and watched us live. It was really great having you here. I loved all the little comments that you made. Your own speculations have been really great. I think somewhere up here, somebody had suggested to Georgia to buy a tile and then the AirTags will come out. You know,
yes, that's true. That's probably exactly. I saw
just
that.
Go buy that.
Yeah, that's the way that it always goes, right?
Yeah.
And if you want,
and it'll rain.
Right, exactly. Or you'll get mud on it again. You'll be like, Yeah. Renee also has a wonderful video out on all of the leaks and him reacting to this huge leak bomb. So you can go and check that out. Renee Ritchie on YouTube too. So
yeah, youtube.com/Renee Ritchie.
Just to tide you over.
More delicious gobblies to eat up while we're waiting. It's more package shaking. That's all it is for me. It's the fun.
Apple Nerd Christmas.
Yes. This is Apple Christmas Eve right now.
Right.
Thank you to everybody. Again, thank you to everybody who joined us live and listened and commented. We do this show every Friday, usually at 1 p.m. Eastern time, depending on how good we are at being on time. We also tweet it out. So if you don't see us, just know that it'll probably come within the hour or something like that. So try to join us live on YouTube. If you can't join us live, you can stream this YouTube show anytime you want. But we also do this show specifically so that we can have the audio podcast on iTunes. So, listen to us. If you're already listening to us, thank you for that. This is why we do it, is for the audio podcast. So thank you for listening in. We try to avoid talking too much about what we're looking at. So hopefully we don't confuse anybody when we're saying, ooh, look at how cool that is. We try to be descriptive as best we can. Thank you to Jim Metzendorf for editing us and making us sound good, putting us up on iTunes. I don't know how to do that. So Jim Metzendorf, you're our hero. You make that happen for us. And thank you to everybody who's listening later on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or even on Tuesday while you're actually watching the Apple event. Wouldn't that be fun to kind of go through the leaks and like check mark what we said was right and what we said was wrong? That'd be pretty fun. And thank you. Listen again. Listen every time. Have a great weekend. And next time we speak, we will be talking about the iPhone, well, presumably the iPhone launch. We don't know. Maybe they'll just be like, nah, no iPhones this year. God, I hope. Have a great week. This has been the iMore Show. Goodbye.